Hey guys, Tomboy601. We did it. We caught him. We found the lie. I have definitive evidence that Wargaming is full of crap, and I've caught them in a big ol' lie. But also we have tier 8 details, so that's probably the more important thing. But so you don't think the title was clickbait, let's go into the lie. On July 5th, Wargaming posted this to their Twitter, and they said no one had correctly identified every single ship for tier 8 yet. And let me just say, this channel right here, we had the definitive list and gotten all of the ships correctly identified by June 29th. So, yep, let the record show we did it. Now, of course, Wargaming's tweet does say they've not seen anyone who is 100%, so maybe we're just not big enough and we don't matter. That probably is it. But I refuse to believe that we definitely caught them in the lie. But with all that said, it really doesn't matter. Guys, tier 8 is here, and we have all of the details up on screen. We have an interesting Vladivostok game, and I hope you enjoy that while we dive into the tier 8 details, because it's here. And we were somewhat correct on also like what you need to shoot for to get ready. So with all that said, let's just go ahead and talk the talk. Tier 8 ships, who are they? What are they? Well, let's go ahead down the lines. As we had already talked about on this channel, we will be getting 3 ships from the following nations: USA, Japan, Germany, and USR. Basically 1 cruiser, 1 destroyer, and 1 battleship from each of those nations. USA, the one who probably had the most mysteriousness around it, given that we are getting 2 sort of unique ships, or ones that are kind of weird and not exactly how they are on PC. So the battleship is the main. Like we had predicted here, it's going to follow the Iowa. It's a Montana hull, but the guns are Pensacolaed, if you will, 2-barreled, 3-barreled on both of those sets of turrets on the front and the back, meaning a little bit less alpha strike potential from the ship, but you do maintain the sort of armor upgrade that Montana gets. So it's a nice middle ground before the Montana and after the Iowa. The cruiser was Buffalo. It's going to follow the Baltimore. Then the destroyer is the Allen M. Sumner, and it's going to follow the Fletcher. Of course, we kind of talked about how the Pan-European or Pan-Asian ship over on PC, there is a Sumner class destroyer, and we are just getting it Americanized for us over here. Japan, the battleship, is going to be a Zumo. It's going to follow the Amagi. The cruiser is Ibuki. It follows Mogami. Destroyer is Yugamo, and it follows Kagero. Germany, well, we have the Frederick de Gross, which will follow the Bismarck. The cruiser is the Rune, which will follow Hipper. The destroyer is the Z-46, and it's going to follow the Z-23. Hey, look at that. The Z's follow each other. And for the Russians, battleship Sovetski Soyuz follows Vladivostok. Cruiser Dmitry Donskoy follows Chapayev. And the destroyer Delny follows Tashkent. So those are all of the ships. And like I said, we had them pretty nailed down over here. Let's go ahead and talk about some other changes coming to the game. First thing is the economy changes. For tier 6, service fees are being reduced from 101,250 down to 91,125. Service fees for tier 7 ships are being reduced from 136,000 down to 122,400. For premium tier 7 ships, they'll get a further reduction down to 95,200. And the credit boost, of course, that we all know about. Premium ships are getting that increase from 15% up to 55%. So those are the economy changes. I think those may actually already be implemented, but we know those are here. One thing you do need to be on the lookout, which is a temporary change to matchmaking. So because they expect so few of these tier 8s to be out in the waters at first, the upper tiers will be outside of that +1, -1 matchmaking. So what's going to happen is when the tier 8s launch, because there probably would not be enough tier 8s to create a healthy environment for them to be able to be pulled into both tier 7, tier 8 matches and tier 8 legendary matches, there will be a swirl of tier 7, tier 8, and legendary matches for a limited time until the numbers of tier 8 ships get up enough so that they can support the usual +1, -1 matchmaking that Legends is known for. And thank God. I mean, look, I understand having to do it temporarily. It's going to be one of those gritting the teeth moments because you're you know, it's going to be grit in your teeth. But hey, I think this is the best way to make it fun for everyone at first, and then transition it into what will be the future of it. So, what is tier 8 going to look like? Well, you are going to need 300,000 XP on the preceding ship to get up to it. So if you're doing it right now before the update, of course, usually a tech tree tier 7 ship takes 100,000 XP to get it fully upgraded. You want 200,000 elite XP on every single one of your ships pre-update if you want to be able to buy into tier 8. What is a tier 8 going to cost you? It's going to cost you 25 million credits. So you're looking at you're looking at like 32 million when it's all said and done. They aren't getting an additional mod slot. So the mod slots that are already out there are the mod slots that these ships will have. They're not going to continue to get those upgrades. So kind of remember, you're gonna spend about 7 million credits on top of the purchase costs to get all of the mod slots all kitted out, and then after that, well, then you have your service cost, which is going to be 160,000 credits per match. Tier 8 premiums will have a 15% bonus. That's right. They specifically called out that there will, in fact, be tier 8 premiums, and I think this is probably for the best because, well, I feel like tier 7 has been so high for so long. They've kind of exploited down and done what they can with the pool of tier 7s, and now they can kind of move on, start making campaign ships for tier 8. Additionally, they are also saying that tier 8 ships can be expected to be found in a couple of other places, including GXP, maybe the Bureau, the Forge, which, let's be clear, hasn't really seen much love since they put the Missouri in there. So, hey, maybe if you've been saving and didn't know if you wanted to pick up the Missouri, there could be a new Bureau or new Forge ship. And also, they are also considering the auction as a place to pick up a tier 8 ship, which would be interesting. Hopefully, it is plentiful, or the ship isn't great because, yeah. The auction was a choice. Anyways, other things that are kind of important to go along in the dev blog that popped up. Weimar is still the only ship that will be advancing up a tier. They are not considering it for other strong tier 7 premiums like Jean Bart or Lenin or Wichita or Udachi. Speaking of which, they do have a specific Q&A question that says, does this make the return of unavailable tier 7 ships like those just listed more likely? And they basically said they're not going to say yes or no, but it doesn't make it more likely, but they haven't forgotten about all of them. Really, what I think that's code for is they promised the Lenin would return one day, so that has to happen at some point. So that's why they listed it in there with the unobtainium of Wichita, Udachi, and Jean Bart, but don't expect any love otherwise. Additional things that are called out in the Q&A: legendary aircraft carriers are definitely on the way. They do not plan on introducing super ships, so that's like what would end up being tier 11 over on PC. They also do not plan on adding all of the ships from PC over here to make it the full 10 tiers. And honestly, after downloading and playing around a little with World of Warships PC, I really like that, because what they've done here is they've taken a lot of the fluff from the lower tiers out and made the more fun, the bigger fun ships more accessible. So that could be a good or bad thing, because it means that you have less time in the ships when you get up to the higher tiers. But hey, it's still fun overall. So guys, that's what you need to know about tier 8. I, for one, am quite excited. I'm interested to see how dynamics of tier 8 ships are going to ultimately play out because, well, right now I'm a little hesitant just because it feels like you're going to be volunteering to be low tier in a legendary tier match, but we will just have to see. I think that's always going to be the flaw of the +1/-1 matchmaking, or any sort of matchmaking where you're not all the same tier, and it's just what it is going to be. I, for one, am still looking forward to tier 8. Personally, I have the money right now to purchase 1 ship, and I have the research done, or I have the money right now to purchase 2 ships, and I have the research done to be able to purchase one ship, and that will be the Sumner, because I've gotten way more than I need XP on the Fletcher. The rest of the tier 7s, I do not have enough XP. I'm currently grinding to try and get enough XP on all of them, but we will just have to see how that ends up turning out. For me, I am excited about being able to. I think the CCs we've kind of gone around, and just because of the cost, there's been a couple of us that have decided to try and kind of not call dibs, but like be like, hey, I'm going to review this one because I have it, and just try to give everyone a little bit of space. You may call it a cabal, you may call it price fixing, I don't know what you want to call it, but we've tried, I think we're trying to coordinate it so that there is coverage on all of the ships, and it's not just 46 reviews of the main when that comes out or something like that. So yeah, guys, that's tier 8. Like I said, I'm excited, I'm nervous. Next update is going to be huge. This does add a huge amount of grind for the upper tiers. This does add a ton more to get in, dig in, and play. And for that, we have to thank Wargaming. So far, it seems like they're doing a pretty good job. Anyways, guys, if you liked the video, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. See ya.